Yes, I am. This is Larry Buffalo.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Stella Martin. How are you today?
I'm good. What's up?
Good. You were the gentleman that was next door over at the 2869 Fred Edwards property yesterday, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hello, I came over there, so I looked all messed, but it was cold out, so I had to dress in.
Around there, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I had to get all that other snow out. The wind drifts were bad, so, but, yeah, I just want to give you a call. I talked to Lieutenant Biter yesterday afternoon, and I was kind of inquiring as to what was happening, and he said that the biologist was there, and he'd given me a name, and I'd asked him to make sure, since you were here now, and with the winter, everything appears, dead, but, you probably expect everything to kind of come back to life in spring. And I'd asked him if you had any plans on coming back out in the springtime, to really see what has been affected, because, yes, a lot of the vegetation and things will come back. However, there are many trees along there that are dead. They're not just in slumber for the wintertime. Quite a few trees along that area with even just a foot or two up. I don't know if you guys walk down the hill in the back, that's why I had offered you my portion that walks around the bottom of that.
Before you go on any farther still, let me just tell you why I was there, so I can omit a whole lot of other stuff that isn't even in my purview. So, he had a violation for filling in what we call the adjacent area. So that's a 100-foot buffer that New York State regulates alongside of our regulated wetlands. So that parking area that he's got up there where he stores material and stuff like that, he built up. And he built it up in that adjacent area. So that's what we were there to take a look at. Because a former biologist that I used to work with, who's now retired, had initiated this whole thing a year and a half ago or whatever. So because she's no longer here, I went over there to take a look just to familiarize myself with it. So that was really why I was there, just to see how much material had been put there and how we can resolve or try to get it close to what it used to look like in the past. It's never going to be, you can't make things perfect 100%. So
absolutely.
A better grade instead of such a steep bank. The whole idea of an adjacent area is that because that's a pretty decent wetland, a functional wetland, there's a bunch of amphibians and small birds, mammals, and things that use that area, and they don't just use the wet area, the inundated area. They use the adjacent area as well. So we want to see sort of a grade that allows those critters to kind of come and go as they please. Mostly the amphibians, because they don't have the ability to really climb up and over.
Yeah, because we get turtles every year, and they're amazing.
Full of turtles. Yeah,
it comes out, and it's so awesome. They can make such a perfectly round hole underneath the ground, and they come out, the bigger turtles, and then, of course, the little short time later, all these little guys, come, they're so awkward trying to run back to the pond, but, I get quite a few of them, and but I don't think I will. I'm not quite sure how many I'll get this year, because he had actually changed the way the wetland went across, passed behind my house, went through his property from the neighbors who has the 3 horses. And that was a runoff that came through, and it went in through his property and would go into the wetlands. Last year he came with a tractor and he changed it so it comes through my property down here, but yet it goes to try and go into the wetland, except however it gets stuck right there because of his large amount of garbage. So now my entire yard back here is filled with green yuck sludge because it's a runoff of 3 horses. So I don't know if the turtles are going to even want to come through all that up here now.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it depends if there's runoff from agriculture, that's an issue and that contributes to a lot of algae growth and other things. It's just too much nutrients for a small body of water.
Yeah, it's stuck it's stuck.
And things like that. But, turtles live in that kind of stuff too. So I don't expect that they're going to up and disappear overnight. That stuff's probably been going in there for years too.
Well, no, now, like I'm saying, it's stuck. So now what happens is it just keeps accumulating. Not just that, is when it rains, because of the debris that he has there, it rains off of that. That's right to my property. And all of that rain, coming through all that stuff he has there, gets stuck there also. So, I mean, right underneath, under the back of my property, it's all turning to a yucky marsh. Like, it's all green, and it's, like I said, it's the horses, it's a runoff of his debris. So, it's disgusting. The flies that come to it are and the bugs. And I talked with the code enforcer, and he told me he's spoken with the DEC to help get that. And I talked with a gentleman from the EPA last night, and he said, oh, yeah, no, that is not appropriate. That is not okay. But I just want to make sure that, like, if hoping, before any kind of negotiation has been made, is that you also see this in the springtime, and that you'll notice that the trees and such and the vegetation around it, they won't come back. I have many photos I've sent to the DEC of the puddles that are at the base of this that have the oil sheen on top of it. Like, you don't quite understand, and I know they're not telling the truth. The tractor trailers that came here at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the DEC has many statements. It's that construction debris that you see there. It was not tree leaves or grass clippings. It is this construction debris you see here from Long Island. And we've witnessed this, and it was dumped right out here, as 20, 30 feet from my bedroom window. It would wake me up because it was, it was rattling my house.
Right. Again, my purpose for being there is strictly the wetland, and to make sure that the material he put in the adjacent area is graded back. So that was the only purpose I was there for yesterday.
Yeah, no, it needs to be removed.
If and when he repairs that, then we'll be going back to verify it. So.
Well, the Armored Corps engineers, which is nice, I appreciate them, but I know they're going to come in and just say, no, get that crap out, but it's the type of debris that we have seen. Like I said, there's statements of, there's multiple holes all around his property of garbage and tires that have been buried, and we've seen what it is. You guys are just going by his word, but we've signed our names to these sworn statements. We know what's there. There's garbage. Then there's, on top of that, is somewhat clean fill. Then garbage, then somewhat clean fill. It's all layered. Yeah. So in any portion of this,
somebody else's, expertise that would be required to investigate that, not mine.
Yeah, I'm just telling you is that we've seen the biologic change that this has gone through, and I just hope that, like I said, before any negotiation comes through, that you'll really come out and see what does not come back to life out here. This used to be crystal clean out here, and now it's cloudy, it's foggy, the puddles have oil sheen on them. There's a real issue of, what happens. I know last year we only had a few turtles that came up. When I first moved here, going back, I've lived here 8 years, but going back even 5 or 6 years, you'd see at least 2 a day. And we'd see the babies go and run out over there. And this past summer, we literally, the entire season of it, we only saw like 3 turtles and didn't see any babies this year. So there's a change. Even the beavers that were across the pond and down a little bit, they up and left. They're gone. It's like a couple people said, something's wrong when the beavers up and leave. So I do know that
that's fairly common when we see that frequently. They leave because they've run out of the food that they prefer. So that's not necessarily, all these things don't necessarily add up to the same thing. So that would take more of a review than just that.
That's what I'm saying. That's part of it. I called Washington, and I called the White House. I spoke with a biologist who was into deeming wetlands like it is nationally, and she's a biologist, and she understands that this type of debris, when I showed her the photos, unfortunately, the photos I just took a month ago are not what you see now with the snow covered, and I sent her the photos, and she said absolutely this type of debris will change the biology of this, and it will change the vegetation like it has, and the wildlife as well. So and this woman works for the White House, and this is what she does on a national basis. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I hope if for negotiation you'll take a look at this in the springtime when things are supposed to come back to life, and
we'll
they don't.
Definitely be back there to take a look at whatever he's been ordered to do. So.
Yeah, and it also, especially in my backyard, how, like I said, this is stuck here, and this is the rain runoff of him and 3 horses. So, I probably this year won't even get, the turtles. I doubt they're going to come through that. It's disgusting. So, but all right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
And I hope you have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Morning, Wildlife. Josh speaking.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can I please speak to Larry Bafaro one more minute? I'm sorry. I forgot to ask him something.
Larry speaking.
Hi, Larry. I'm so sorry. I forgot to ask you something. I'm just wondering, I don't see how this could be a buffer area for that, because this entire body of water is actually one entire body of water. There is no cutoff for it. So everything, all of this was actually placed directly into the water of the wetland. So what the things that he's done in place here, the water runs into this entire body of water. They said there is no cutoff area, so no matter what, when it rains.
What I'm talking about, the regulated wetland is, it's determined by a number of things on the landscape. So it may end at the water's edge, it may not end at the water's edge. It takes a review of that to take, and the previous biologist, as I said, had been out there and already looked at it, and actually she was one of our wetland experts here in the region. So she determined where the wetland edge was, and it is somewhere near the toe of that slope. It's not that far from there. I mean, there are mature trees, hardwood trees, and some pine trees growing there, and they don't grow in the water. So those trees are probably 30 or 40 years old. So they were at the edge of the wetland. That's why a lot of those are dying too, because they can only develop so long until their roots are inundated too long, and then they suffer and die. But somewhere within that area, at the toe of that slope, is where we would say that the wetland ends and this 100-foot buffer begins. So the 100-foot buffer is additional to the wetland.
Okay, so yeah, because
that's where that parking area is. It's basically near that edge somewhere.
No, it's actually on the edge. Like you said, you didn't get to walk down on it. When you walk around the bottom.
Biologist a year and a half ago, when all this stuff started, went down there and evaluated the whole.
No, it might have been a part of a drought during the summertime, but I know I can go down here, and I did this summer, and actually even the month ago when I took these photos, and the debris is into the water, especially in one part where a huge part of construction debris is into the water. You actually have to walk on the debris to stay out of the water. That might have been a bit of a drought season when she saw it,
right.
But I do know to walk around it.
To remove that material, so he still has to pull that material out of there.
Yeah.
He has to grade it back so that it's a more, basically tapered slope down to that body of water.
Yeah, because no matter what, the runoff from his garbage goes into this water that does go down into the town of Saugerty's drinking water. So no matter what, the runoff from this water goes into these wetlands. It goes down to an entire town's drinking water. Right. You can see the garbage bags. I don't know if there's any way you'd be able to give me your email, and I'll send you the photos of what that is.
I've seen them already, actually.
Oh, okay, so you can see it's right there in the water.
There's YouTube videos and all that stuff I've already reviewed.
Yeah, so you can see it's right in the water. That's a concern, is that, no matter what, it's not just sloping it, that debris, the water, and I don't understand, I don't know if you knew, the DEC did not test the quality of water there. They actually opted to go on the complete opposite side of Mr. Edwards' property, which was right there by that gate where you were yesterday when I was walking by, and it's actually, that's where they took the sample of water. So that does not conclude what the quality of water is at the base of the wetlands, and they didn't even try. I told the woman, there's a trail right down over here by my house. There's puddles all right there at the base of this that would give you a clear reading of the water quality at the base of this large mound, and they opted not to, which I'm quite confused at.
We're the experts. I don't do water quality testing. That's not even a small part of my.
Well, no, this was the New York Health Department.
To do that would be the expert, and they would do whatever was appropriate to get a suitable water quality sample.
Yeah, though I think the EPA might be hopefully coming in to do that because it's, like I said, this is the entire body of water, so it's not encroaching into it. No matter what, it's one body of water. There is no land that comes in between it to make it stop. So I don't understand why people say it's encroaching it when the photos show it's right in the water. So, and the water actually came up closer, except, however, he kept pushing the water back and pushing the water back with the debris he kept placing in. So, yeah, the water's always been right there.
That all back.
All right, thank you.
It'll be graded, mulched, and seeded so that it grows back in a more natural condition.
Yeah, but like I said, the quality of water because of this debris, and you can see now because it's weatherizing, you can see the layers inside of there and how many garbage bags are showing now, and plastic, and even when Lieutenant Biter saw it,
and that stuff would be exposed when he pulls all that back, and we'll be able to get a better view of it.
Yeah,
to grade it all back. So
it's also even the holes he's dug around his yard. All of that it flows down into the wetlands.
Right.
So that's going to make a huge difference. And the reason, there's a reason why they deemed this the wetland. Like you said, it's an active wetland. So now here you have this businessman with this yard and this piece of property that has all this garbage and debris on it. That as it rains, all of this seeps through the water and down into the wetlands. We've told DEC there are many holes, and if you look at the satellite imagery, there's one huge hole where even two tractors can drive in and out of that. And he was really busy when the hurricane had happened, and there were multiple houses up on the mountain that had been destroyed. Then he was taking parts of the houses and bringing them down here. He was quite busy. This is all stuff not even a dump would take. Why would tractor trailers from Long Island make a trip all the way up here to dump this here?
I have no answers for those questions.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. Neither does anybody else.
It's my job, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the reality of this, and then, there's more to what meets the eye and what, you're being told. So if this is your job and you still have a passion for it.
Well, there was an officer there, and, he's basically the guy who issues tickets. We had our lawyer there yesterday, and she deals with the lawsuit against him and everything else.
Well, actually,
it's their job to kind of get all these parts together and build a case against him. And really, my only purpose was to take a look at the grade of the slope as it goes into that wetland to see that it's graded to a more suitable level.
Yeah, well, that stuff wasn't supposed to be there to begin with, so it shouldn't even be just sloped. It needs to be taken out. And that's what I'm fighting for.
That's the only way to slope it is to get it out of there. So. Well,
before there was a negotiation last year for him to not even remove it, just kind of take an inch off per foot or something like that, and that's ridiculous. No, that's the negotiation they had last year. Not just that, was the material that he brought up.
I looked at the wordage, and the requirement is very much the same as what we're asking to do now.
Well, actually, I have it on recording when I first spoke to Marcia Ellis last year when I got started with all this again.
You can talk to Marcia about it.
Yeah, oh no, I'm just trying to inform you. She knew nothing about anything else. She had even negotiated with him to even remove the material, just to slightly slope it and take that material and put it in front of the adjacent neighbor's home. And when I said there's a house there, she had said that's where the house is? She knew nothing about this, and I don't know why. She didn't know anything about the contamination either. So, but all right, like I said, I just wanted to make you aware. There's more to that meets the eye here. So, all right, well, thank you very much, Larry. Thank you for your time.
Good.
Have a good day. Bye.